It's often been said that we only learn about 40% as much as we could if we just listened. Social media probably doesn't help much with that. So we turn to our expert, Dr. Webb Drake, on how we can improve our listening skills. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Drake.
Good to be here as always.
Well, let's start it right off by just asking the question, why is it that we don't listen better than we do?
I think a lot of it is social media, but other distractions as well. We live very busy lives and we are focused on other things, and it takes a while sometimes for other people to enter into our consciousness. So if we're focused on the work that we're doing, on the task at hand, even on our entertainment, as you said, social media, television, whatever, you have to redirect your focus and pay attention to who's in front of you.
All right. Now, some of the experts say that we have this tune-in, tune-out aspect of our listening skills. So how do we improve those skills and tune in more to what people are saying?
Absolute effort. It's just effort. Most of the parts of our life, social media, television, network media, are designed to capture our attention. The more they have our eyeballs, the more they're going to get into our wallet. And so these are professionally, these are media and whatever that is designed specifically to keep our attention. It's hard for a regular person to compete with that kind of training and expertise. A multi-million-dollar movie, the design of something like Facebook, those things are designed to gather and keep your attention. It's difficult for somebody telling you about walking the dog today to compete with that kind of training and that kind of expertise.
Now, what are some of the negative things that happen when we don't listen to those other voices of people just like talking to us in everyday life?
Oh, wow, that really depends on context. Obviously, there's going to be some professional problems. If you can't focus on what's happening at your job, if you are so distracted that you can't listen to your boss, you can't listen to your clients, you can't listen to your customers, they're going to have some serious negative professional repercussions. Socially and interpersonally, in your relationships, you're going to lose a lot of friends, you're going to have a hard time communicating. So you've got to learn to focus on who's in front of you. Incarnational presence. You've got to be where you are and focused on the interaction that's right in front of you.
All right, let's bring up a certain circumstance. Sure. Say you're in your marriage and the wife's talking to the husband as he sits in the recliner, and the whole time he's saying, as if he's listening, but he's really not. What kind of strain can that put on a relationship?
The word we use that is pseudo listening, right? We do all of the things that make it look like we're listening. Yeah, we're not really listening. We're hoping there's not a quiz later. And so oftentimes the things that she's communicating are practical. Hey, are you going to pick up the kids tomorrow? Your kids end up stranded. And so it really kind of depends on what she's talking about. But oftentimes people just need to communicate. It's called empathic listening. Our job is to make the other person feel heard as much as it is to actually hear. One of our jobs is to make them feel heard, and that has to do with nonverbal communication, that has to do with participation in the interaction, and so as much as the practical side is important, the relational side is just as significant.
So when it comes to the professional world, what kind of purpose does listening play in an interview setting?
In an interview setting, you've got to understand the question, you've got to understand the subtext and context for the question. So many times when someone asks a question, and we know this intuitively, they're asking one question, they're asking something, but really they're getting at something else. They're getting at something deeper. And so you have to listen to the emotional context, the emotional subtext, the relational subtext. You need to know what specifically they're asking. You might give a great answer, but if it's to the wrong question, that's not going to be very helpful.
Now, what are some of the characteristics of the best listeners?
Best listeners focus. Best listeners are really interested in other people. I think it was Norman Vincent Peale. He said you can make more friends in an hour by becoming interested in other people than you can in a lifetime by trying to make other people interested in you. And the best listeners know that everybody is fascinating if we get the right story, if we get them talking about the right thing.
Now, what are some of the better ways to improve our listening skills if we're not one of those good listeners?
Sure, we just got to eliminate distractions. Sometimes they're external distractions like social media, television, whatnot, but oftentimes they're internal distractions. We call it psychological noise. I'm talking to you, but I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat for lunch. I'm talking to you, but I'm thinking about where I want to go later, what movie I want to go see.
Now, I hate to be a bad listener and disrupt you here, but I'm going to have to cut you off because we have to end it. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
If you're listening closely to our weather forecast, you'll find out we have another nice day ahead, but you may not like what's coming Saturday night. Steve has a final look at the weekend weather in just 60 seconds.